Hi everyone, Stepan here. Welcome to game 118. Let's go d4. The last game was a loss, not a very good game. I'm gonna try to play better today. I have a tournament starting in about 10 days, and I have, I want to say, 12 games to cover from my recent tournament and league games, maybe more, maybe 14. So I'll start to cover the games once I've finished analysis. That will be in a couple of days. And then in 10 days, when my tournament starts, I'm going to be playing chess. It's the Pula Open. There will be many people playing. I think there are almost 300 players. I think the Pula Open might be the biggest tournament in Croatia at the moment. I definitely don't remember playing such a large tournament with such a big player pool in Croatia. So yeah, it will be fun. There are a lot of mines you could land on in round one. I've been looking at the starting list. There are a lot of young players, a lot of very low-rated players, and it's going to be fun. In round one, I should be playing someone, I don't know, 1600, so we will see. I'm going with 3 of my teammates from INA, that's our club, so it will be fun. We are renting an apartment, so it will be similar to Varsar, the last tournament. I'm going to show you the games from that tournament soon. It's always fun to stay at the same place with a bunch of people, because then you get to analyze games afterwards and you get to prepare together. You get to make fun of each other when you lose. Like, okay, let's go queen c2. Let's get into the game now. So this is a Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation, fairly standard. Although my opponent has not played knight bd7 yet. Okay, let's go bishop h4. Rook e8 or knight bd7 is normal now. Now they want to go knight e4. I wonder if I can go bishop g3. I normally never play that idea, but if I go bishop g3, then knight e4 loses a pawn. And I constantly keep trading off my bishop on e7. And I remember thinking about this idea during the last tournament game. I had this, and I never played it, and I didn't analyze it. So let's try it now. That's what training is for. I'm not really afraid of knight h5, because then I get to open up the h file and I start a kingside attack. If they go knight h5, I'm going knight f3 takes, knight bd7 castles queenside, and I'm playing for f3 e4. That being said, I could also play knight g2 on knight h5, and that way also play against c5. There are a couple of plans in the exchange. You can go, of course, for a minority attack, but you can... Why? Bishop d6 is a strange move. I'm going to go knight f3, because if allowed, I'm going to go knight e5, and maybe even f4. So I think knight bd7 has to be played now. I think bishop d6 could be a waste of tempo, because that bishop is the bishop that prevents b4. So if that gets traded off, yeah, now b4 is coming. Now I will consider castling kingside and playing b4. I mean, I can play b4 straight away, unless queen d6 is played, or queen e7. Maybe queen e7 is a move. I don't know. I think this is very risky, because there is a game between Karpov and Korchnoi where Korchnoi played g6, bishop g7 in this structure, and that gave Karpov a free b4. So in the absence of the dark squared bishop, with the absence of the dark squared bishop, you don't really need rook b1 or a3 to prepare b4. So unless my opponent plays queen e7, b6 or d6, I think I'm playing b4. Let's just have a look at knight bd7, b4. If knight b6, I go b5, and that's fine. This is very strange. Okay, now my opponent wanted to play knight bd7 after the bishop has developed, but now I just go b4. Now, even if the queen was on e7, I'd be able to go b4, because on queen b4 there's rook b1. Okay. Now I have to watch out for b5, because now I may be able to dominate the dark squares with a5. Oh, that seems fun. My opponent wants to go knight b6, c4. So a5 would prevent knight b6. And it would allow me to go knight a4 and dominate the dark squares. And usually in a6, b7, c6 structures, you go c5, but a5 does the same job. It just restricts the king side pawns. I'm gonna go a5. It's extremely tempting to go a5, because my knight can occupy these squares later on. I'm preventing knight b6, c4, and later I may have knight e5 if this knight moves. Also, if b6, I can just castle, and my opponent's left with an awful backward c pawn. And also, if they take on a5, I take with the rook, and then a6 is hanging and c6 is weak. I think positionally I'm doing extremely well. The only thing I sort of have to watch out for is, okay, do we care about this? Castles, queen b4, rook fb1, queen somewhere, rook b7. Do we need to defend against that? Let's see. Castles, queen b4, rook fb1, queen d6, rook b7. What's that structure like? My opponent has two weaknesses. I only have one. Castles, queen b4, rook fb1, queen d6, rook b7. Let's say rook eb8 or rook ab8. Rook ab8, bishop a6. So rook eb8, rook ab1. Oh, I like that. I also have knight e5 coming. I don't think I have to play rook b1. I don't think this pawn can be taken. Because if my rook lands on b7, then I also have knight e5 pinning the knight. I have knight c6, because c6 is hanging. Okay, the queen is on d6, so it's not an absolute pin, but still, if the knight moves away from d7, knight e5 is coming, knight a4 is coming, more pressure on c6. I like that. Okay, this doesn't do anything, because I'm not sure my opponent's threatening to take. Takes, so what's the point? I don't get this move. I don't understand bishop g4. Is there knight h5 and queen f6? I doubt that. Okay, my rook is useless on a1 unless my opponent plays b6, which would be very bad. So I'm gonna move my rook. I don't care about bishop f3. I could consider bishop f5, but I don't really want to trade bishops. My bishop is excellent. I want my knight on c5. So I'm gonna play rook b1 and knight a4. Because if I go knight a4 now, then queen b4 also wins the a5 pawn. So I want to do this. I want to trade this knight, land knight e5, unless my opponent takes. I don't know why bishop g4 was played. Okay. I don't know why that should concern me. Is there knight g3? Knight g3, fg3, queen e3. There's queen f2. Knight f2, queen f2, bishop f3, gf3, knight g3, fg3, queen e3, queen f2, queen d3. Okay, there's queen d3. So on queen e3 I don't play queen f2. I do something else. Let's just briefly have a look at bishop f3. Sorry, bishop e4. Bishop e4, d4, knight d2, f5, queen b3. Is there anything there? No. No, 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 no. Okay, I'm going with my plan. I don't see anything here. Oh, okay, maybe my opponent wants to go knight g5. So bishop f3, gf3, knight g5, king g2, queen f6. Do I have to go queen d1? Maybe. Bishop e4, d4, knight d2. If bishop f5, well, first of all, f5. I really don't want to give my opponent's knight the d5 square. So yeah, I'm not going to take. So bishop f3, gf3, knight g5, king g2, queen f6, queen d1. That seems okay. I don't really see a problem with that. The idea behind knight c5 is that if either of the knights take, then I play bc5 and I have direct pressure on b7. And if the knights don't take, then let's say the d7 knight goes to f6, then I have knight e5. And I may have knight c6 in some positions, or bishop a6, or knight a6, or knight b7. At this point I can also consider knight h2, just chasing the bishop away. Okay, now knight e5 is an option. Definitely. I don't know where the bishop should go. Knight e5, let's say bishop f5. 95, bishop f5, knight c6. Oh, I like those knights. Okay, I'm playing knight e5. As soon as the knight moves away from d7, knight e5 becomes an option. I don't have f3 because of knight g3. So I'll have knights on c5 and e5. That looks very, very, very good. I just have to figure out if I have to worry about bishop f5 and knight g4. But I can always take that knight, I guess. Bishop e6. Okay, knight c5 as planned. I think bishop f5 was a better move. Because on f3, knight g3, the bishop's... Oh, the bishop's not defended. I have a queen on c2. Okay, so bishop f5 wasn't an option. Look at these knights. Oh, I mean, my opponent has good knights too, but mine are aesthetically very pleasing. And again, I don't think they can ever take on c5. Because an open b file, without my opponent having a dark squared bishop, it would be extremely hard to defend b6. Okay, the knight's coming to b5 or to c4. Now, are there any tricks with knight a6 or bishop a6? Or do I just go f4 like a crazy person? f4, f5, what does that get me? I don't want to go f4, f5. Okay, on knight c4 I win a pawn. On knight b5 I can probably take. I don't know why I wouldn't. Should I even consider knight e6? Maybe. I think it's time to switch to e4 as my main pawn break. So I'm thinking rook be1, f3, e4. I will have to watch out for knight h5. Okay, I'm playing rook b1. I want to play f3 e4 and either f3 king f2 rook h1 or f3 e4 immediately, but I think my rook's needed and my f-pawn needs to move. So in anticipation of anything coming down the e-file, I think my rook's necessary on e1. It's not doing anything on b1 anymore. The b4 pawn can never really be weak because a6 is hanging, and also b6 hangs a pawn. And now it's also easier to play f4 f5 because Nxg4 doesn't put pressure on e3. Also f3 e4 is easier. Wait, what? What does that do? Okay, wants to take on e5. Do I throw in bishop h7? Bishop h7 check, king f8, knight e6, queen e6. Oh. Wait a minute. Bishop h7, king h8, knight e6. If queen e6, I have knight takes b7, knight takes b7, and bishop f5. But there is knight e3. Wait a minute. Bishop h7, king h8, knight e6. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm using my knight twice. I'm playing knight e6 and knight b7. Ugh. Wait, can I just go knight e6? If queen e6, then bishop f5? No, there's a knight on d6. How do I weaken the f5 square? What if I go knight g4, bishop g4, and f3? Followed by king f2. Okay, I'm running low on time. I'm just gonna take on g4. I want to go f3 and king f2 and rook h1. King f2 followed by e4, and then rook h1 seems good to me. May not be good, but it seems good. Because the bishop doesn't really have that many squares. If it goes to h5, I can just play g4. So it either goes to d7, c8, or e6. If it goes to e6, I can still trade. Although I may not wish to trade. I doubt it goes to c8. That seems bad. Why am I down 4 minutes on the clock? Okay, now my plan is just king f2. And then rook h1 and pressure down the h file. Perhaps I should have thrown in bishop h7 at some point. I mean, I can still do that, but... I don't think knight c4 is ever a good move, because it allows an easy e4. The reason I went king f2 immediately is because I'm afraid of h5, h4. And also I want to go to h1 for attacking purposes, but... And if I can, once my rook is on h1, I will try to go g4, g5. It doesn't seem to work now, but it could work. The thing is, if the knight reaches f5, I may have to take it. So let's say queen g5, rook h1, knight f5. I think I have to take. And then I take on b7. What? Why would you go g6? Okay, bishop g6, fg, queen g check, queen g7. There are no tricks with the e6 bishop. Okay, let's just go rook h1. This seems like a very bad move to me. I don't even understand the point. Okay. Now e4 is tempting, but I would much rather double up my rooks down the h file. If I can. So let's do that. Also supporting e4. I have to watch out for my e3 pawn because it hangs with check. But as long as the bishop remains on e6, that's not an issue. g5 isn't an issue because I just win a few more squares. There is knight f5. But I'm actually happy to make that trade. Okay, bishop f5. Oh, there's begs for e4 to be played. Okay, e4, de4, fe4. e4, de4, fe4, bishop somewhere, e5. Okay, yeah, I'm playing e4. This is just too tempting. My rook is hanging though. But I'm not planning to do anything extraordinary. I want to play e5. Also, I can gain a tempo on h6 with rook h1. Okay. I want to go queen c3, but I'm not too convinced. I'm going queen c3. Because there may be some useful discoveries, and if my opponent goes queen f6, then my d4 pawn is defended, and I have rook f4. Okay, on queen f6 I can just take on f5, but also the queen just defends the rook. So, d5 check. That just wins a pawn. It does win a pawn. Is that good enough though? It may be good enough. I can continue e5, d6. I don't even have to take on c6. So e5, knight f5, d6, e5, knight f5, d6, queen d8 or queen f8 only moves. Oh, I like that. Okay. The pawns are rolling forward. I can also just take on f5, but I don't really want to because my bishop is too good. I think I'm just winning now with the pawn on the d file. There is queen g5. I have to watch out for queen g5. Okay, so d6. Maybe I just take the knight now. Bishop takes, so that on queen g5 I don't have to worry about any discoveries. So takes, d6. Okay, I'm taking, I have to hurry. on queen g5 now, I have queen d6 and knight b7. Honestly, I have no idea what's better. And I'm down to a minute on the clock. Okay, I wanna go queen e3 because it feels safe. Queen e3. Okay, let's go queen e3. I don't think I'm getting to my opponent's king. I just want to play it safe and queen my pawns. b6 can never be played. I think positionally or strategically I'm just winning. So unless there are some tactical tricks, I should be able to convert easily. For example, rook d4. And, you know, just continue from there. Knight b7, d7. I don't think the bishop can do anything. And with the rook on d4, knight b7, d7 should be game over. If bishop g4, then I just take on b7, I think. No, maybe I don't. I have to watch out for knight b7 because of rook b8. If bishop g4, I actually need to bring my rook around. Okay. So now rook d4. Let's save my rook. b6 doesn't work because knight a6. This is a protected passed pawn on d6. If this isn't winning, I don't know what is. Okay. So I need my rook on a dark square. I need my king on a dark square. So I'd prefer to have my king on f4. Unfortunately, my opponent can play king h6. Is e6 good enough? e6, fe, knight e, bishop e, rook e, king g7. No, I'm not trading. If I go king f3, then bishop g4, king f4, king g7, king g5 is good enough. Okay. I want my king to defend the pawn on e5. Also, this way I'm not hanging a check on the second rank. Oh. Okay. Takes, king f4, rook f8, king g5, rook f5, king h6. It's very tempting to take this. Okay, I'm gonna have to speed up. I'm taking. King f4, rook f8, king g5, rook f5, king h6. King f7 is incredibly dangerous, so let's go rook f4 first. I'm gonna go rook f6 and then king f4. The king and pawn endgame is winning. So my opponent cannot trade both rooks. Has to move the rook. And then I go rook f6, and then I'm winning. If rook f5, I just take. And it's over. Yeah, this is winning. Okay, whew. I mean, I felt like I had a pretty good position when I pushed e4. Now I don't think there's anything to be done. Because you cannot trade rooks. And my king's coming into g5. Or it's coming into b6. It's inevitable. Okay. Whew. Yeah, this doesn't work. We're just coming into b6. There is no way to prevent that and to prevent the d pawn from queening. There's nothing going on here. These two pawns have been stopped. Okay, let's analyze. Let me just adjust the thing so that you can see the evaluation and the book. Let's see. Okay, this should be fine. So it says, I had 1 blunder, 3 mistakes and 2 inaccuracies. My opponent had 2 blunders. Okay, so this is standard stuff. Okay, the h6 immediately is slightly odd, but rook e8. Oh wait, bishop g3? Yeah, that's what I wanted to look at. Normally I'm going to develop my knight and then knight e4 comes. So this is, let's say, knight f3, knight e4, and it's just equal. So I wanted to find a way to prevent that. So I played bishop g3. Now it says equal. Let's turn on the engine. It says equal after knight h5 or c5. Okay, knight f3, bishop g3, hg3. Bishop e6 is strange, so b4. a4 is a mistake. I should have castled. Okay. It's a mistake because my opponent had a5. a5, ba5, rook, or queen a5 even. Okay, interesting. Castles. a5 best. Wait. One of the best. Okay, now it's not on the list. Now it is on the list. But it makes sense. Castles. Bishop g4. Knight a4, okay. Knight e5, good. Knight c5. Wait, rook fe1 is a big advantage and I played rook b1. What's my rook doing on b1? I know I want to go f3, e4, but why is my... I don't understand why this is the wrong rook. Look at the difference in the evaluation. Rook fe1 plus 0.7. Okay, now I'm apparently winning after what I did. Bishop takes and f3. Okay, bishop e6. e4 immediately? It does make sense. e4, d4, f4. Then what do I do? e5. Okay. I played king f2, which is equal. Rook h4 is a mistake. I should have gone g4. Yeah, now just inviting e4. This had to be bad. fe4. Queen c3 best. Yes, come on. Oof. And then I blundered. So I should have gone e5. e5, knight f5, bishop f5, bishop f5, and then king g1. Okay. Wait, if he goes queen e5, then it's equal. Don't I just win a pawn? Wait a minute. Queen e5, queen e5, rook e5, takes. Couldn't I just take the pawn? Ah, this is hanging. I know, but I cannot trade, I just queen. How is this not better for me? I don't understand this. Wait, what does it say? It says knight b7. Why would this be equal? Is my knight trapped? My knight's trapped. But so what? Okay. King g7 losing, e5, takes and d6. Okay, we knew that this was... Okay, apparently queen e3 is a blunder. I should have gone rook f4. Okay. But this has to be good enough. Yeah. Okay, this is just winning. It's all just winning. Wait, what? g5? Wait, why? g5, rook f6. Oh, there is rook d6. And I have to take on g6. Oh. Oh. No, the pawn isn't on g6. Oh, I'm an idiot. I could have lost to a very simple tactic. If I take, I lose. Oof. Okay. Yeah. Luckily my opponent didn't see that and we went into a king and pawn endgame. The king and pawn endgame is over. Oof. So not a clean game, but still a win. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.